Good. Yes. Sit. Yes. Alright, so we've been working a little bit on healing, sitting. We actually had a good little conversation with somebody like, yes, good boy. Hey, I'm not chasing these. I did whip out the freeze dried because he stopped taking his kibble. See if that's a little bit more motivating. He's actually doing really good holding his obedience and then using the sniffing as a reward. So we're essentially like teaching him these skills here, rewarding him when he's out and about with sniffing as opposed to treats. So we're doing lots of frequent breaks and things of that nature. We were where the red car is, and there was a dog walking on the other road, and he wasn't taking treats at that point, so I was just kind of watching the other dog, and then watched him. You know, he was okay. Then I noticed his breathing kind of picked up, his mouth closed, and I just did a quick let's go heal. And then when he did that, I immediately rewarded with sniffing. Since he wasn't taking treats, that was the only reward I had to give him at the moment. He ended up watching the other dog from there and just, Sully, leave. Leave it. Yes, good boy. He ended up watching the other dog from there and just kind of sniffing around, but he didn't react at all, which is great. So I'm hoping that the freeze dried is going to be a little bit more valuable than the kibble right now. So we're just kind of try and up the value of the rewards a little bit. And I know he sniffed down this side. He did pretty good. Small, frequent, rewarding breaks. This is what I talked about in his little report. Obedience for 1 to 2 minutes, break to sniff. Not telling him to do anything, rewarding him coming back. Then we keep walking. Sully said, yes. Rewarding him, with keeping walking to go sniff another area, essentially. If he keeps walking, he doesn't pull anything, then he goes to go sniff again. The reason that I'm so focused on getting him to the point that he needs to take treats in other areas, aside from in front of his house or at his house, is because we need to be able to reward him for that, counter conditioning for seeing other dogs, essentially. Gets rewarded calmly for that. So we're going to keep working on it, keep working on building up, being able to take treats outside. That's why I've got the freeze dried. I'm going to see if Sully. Yes. Sit. No, sit. Yes.
Training.
Good. Yes. Yes. So I'm actually going to do a little break to go sniff since he's been quote-unquote in obedience and making him stay here for a little while. I'm trying to keep his frustration low because when he gets frustrated, he stops taking food. Sully, okay, go sniff. And instead of using the word B-R-E-A-K, which is kind of like you could disengage entirely, I'm just saying your reward is the go sniff part. Now he just wants to keep going forward. He wants to go forward. We'll try. Sully, let's go. Yes! Big exaggeration. Good. Sit. Yes. Now the other thing I'm starting trying, this is a principle that I just learned about, is reward duration. So it's kind of predictable if every time you say YES and you just give one treat, they just kind of like check out after that one. But if we change up the duration of the reward, and so it's like 3 treats, 5 treats, 2 treats and a pet, or like a big explosive amount, making it really fun. Engage. Sully, let's go. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes. Yes. No reaction whatsoever. I just made myself nice and exciting. I'm using the freeze dry. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Down. I know there's a treat there. Down. Good. So I did that let's go work, real nice and exciting, explosive, you know, gave him treat for continuously engaging. And then he honestly responded extremely well. This prong did not allow him to fixate as often. We were able to redirect the head really well. He's getting conditioned to it super well, honestly. Pardon me, I'm out of breath, it's hot. So that's going super good. Right now I have the collar dead. So that means that it's hooked onto the swivel and it's hooked onto the standard ring. So it's more of like a martingale type action. Well, it's a less harsh correction is what it is. It's kind of similar to a flat collar, but instead of it being like the fabric where it goes on like one part, it's the little points of the collar distributing the pressure. And honestly, he's responding super great to it. So I'll give him another break because he's doing super good. Like I said, 1 to 3 minutes of obedience. Nope. Down. Nope. Yes. 1 to 3 minutes of obedience. Rewarding with sniffing. That was his first time not reacting to a dog where it's on the other side of the road and we were in the driveway. That's great. We know that he's a little bit less reactive to smaller dogs. That dog didn't bark at him, but he redirected to me well, and he's taken the freeze dried. So keep working with it. Good boy. Okay, go sniff. Real quick. I've got Sully at the end. This is further than we've gone. Watch this. Yes. He's taking the freeze-dried treats. And he's like actually wanting to engage with them. Watch again. Yes. And I'm gonna do a longer duration of the reward. Oh, here. Good job, buddy. Sully, down. Down. Small correction, pressure downwards. All the way down. Good boy. Yes. We're just gonna keep doing it, keep doing it. But he's working for these freeze-dried. We're just gonna do little bursts at a time. So he's in his 3 minutes of obedience right now. I have him in a down so that he can relax, kind of hang out. There's a dog coming. I'll turn it off. That dog just passed. I had him sit and watch. He wasn't taking treats, but he wasn't doing anything. When I saw him start to fixate, his mouth closed, he started to tighten up a little bit. What I did is I did a let's go, I did a little bit of leash pressure, and then what I did is I gave him a jackpot, which is a whole bunch of treats at once. And then as soon as he was with me for a second, I released him to go sniff. And that way he could decompress. And you saw he was kind of staring at the dog, his tail was up, but he wasn't super tense, you know, he was just kind of watching. He was a little cautious over that dog, but I'm giving him the chance to kind of decompress with the sniffing, because in case part of it is, you know, he's fearful of other dogs. Now that dog's not super explosively reactive, but it definitely wants to come say hi. And we're just going to keep having these good interactions. That's a second interaction he's had with that dog, and we haven't had an issue. So now he's on his go sniff break, and he's kind of just sounding the air. He's kind of just watching, surrounding his environment. I'm going to wait for him to re-engage, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, now we're at a slight impasse. We saw a big group of people, and I did a little bit of let's go. He got an explosive amount of treats, then I released him to go sniff. Now he's kind of like 25% of the time taking his freeze-dried treats. I definitely know that his biggest reinforcer is being able to go sniff, so I'm going to keep using that quite a bit, and just kind of building him up, but also encouraging him to kind of relax, settle into his environment. Doesn't have to be going and sniffing everything, but building it up slowly over time. We're at the edge of his yard. He's in a sit-stay. I'm going to release him out of his sit-stay into a heel. and then we're gonna take him to go sniff as long as the heel is good. Okay, heel. Good boy. Good boy. Sully, sit. Eye contact. I want him to kind of look a little bit more. Oh, there's somebody running around. Good boy. Yes. Bringing the treat to him, and he took that one. We've done really great with passing people, and he'll take treats then. There's a lot about just getting him settled in. Good boy. Yes. See if he takes that one. Okay, go sniff. And now we are right by his favorite pole, but I'm not gonna let him go there. I'm giving him a defined area. At this point, I don't care if he's peeing so much. Nope. Just not that. Now his break is over. Part of my camera skills. Because he marked and did the paw scrape. Sully, sit. Good. Yes. Yes. Okay, another bout. So I saw that dog. They were coming down that end of the street. We were past the white car. I had Sully do a let's go. He wasn't really taking treats so much. I knew I couldn't work on that counter conditioning. I did a little jog with him, and he got excited, and he started immediately taking treats once we were in the driveway. And we stood at the first block line, which is a good perspective. We're using the freeze dried, and we watched that dog walk by on the road. That dog didn't react. It was pulling a little towards him, but it didn't react. Sully took treats the entire time. He watched calmly. He didn't do anything. And then I tried to get him to do a break. He didn't want to do a break, so I did a let's go and then had him do a break. And then he went and sniffed for a second, immediately came back, re-engaged, and decided he just wanted to calmly watch the dog. So now he's just still calmly watching. I'm not asking him to do anything. He's just hanging out. The one thing I might have started to notice is that it seems like he gets a little insecure when he leaves the property. So that's kind of an interesting concept, and that might be part of the reason why he's not taking treats so much. So maybe doing, like, the amount of times he's trying to go pull might be because, to try and go sniff is because he's trying to regulate his emotions. So I might have you decide to, like, go to a really, really, like, open field, essentially, that doesn't have any people at it. Put him on his long line and let him, put him on his harness. Let him just go sniff his little heart out, and we're gonna do slow field trips out and about and see if it is, true nervousness that's causing part of his aggression, and it's a fear aggression state. Yes, good boy. As opposed to pure aggression, because fear aggression is the most common form of aggression with dogs. And the fact that he's already nervous in his environment when he sees another dog is just adding onto it, and that's why he explodes. So he's gonna take a little while to train, but honestly, he did super good. Every single dog he's seen today, he did not react to. Every single one. Yes, good boy. So yeah. In addition to working on his heel work and doing slow exposures off property, what I'm gonna have you do is just put him into downs. Like, see, right now he's really focused on watching all those people over there. And I'm just gonna let him watch. This is part of dog training too. If he's having a little bit of nervousness, then what happens is if I say his marker word, he may or may not take the treat. When I did it before I started recording, he didn't. Yes. Oh, see, he will this time. It's just taking him a little while to settle in. He doesn't really like the chicken ones as much, so I'm going to try and stick to the salmon and beef. That's okay. We're going to keep working on it. We might even go hang out kind of on the road. Or if he's going to lay down, perfect. Yes, this is him calming down outside. So I'm going to have, summer is a great time to train dogs because you can sit outside, put your dog in a behavioral down, and just reward them intermittently, get them used to things, comfortable in their environments, used to settling and relaxing, and so be it. Another thing I have started to notice, because now he's had like 5 dogs, that he sat at this line, the first line in the driveway. We've rewarded calm watching. After they pass, what happens is he does a little shake off. He doesn't necessarily do the let's go and take treats, but he does a little shake off and then he's fine. So far he has not reacted whatsoever. So I think that the first line on the driveway is a good distance. We're just keep working on it. Yes, good boy. And so he doesn't necessarily want to take treats now. I might do a long break with him. He got a little bit of trigger snacking going on because the neighbors had a whole bunch going on, but he's just getting slow exposure. We're keeping him kind of below threshold as much as possible because it's not normal for him to not take treats in here, but also I think finding the right value of treats was really important for this as well. Notice how his tail is curled to the left. There's all of that stuff going on over there making a lot of noise. Sorry. And this is kind of telling me that he's uneasy about the stuff going on over there. So it's not fair to me, or fair to him, for me to ask him to do a bunch of stuff, because there is so much going on over there, and he's just feeling kind of uneasy at the moment. So I'm going to stop and let him smell the flowers a little bit. Dog coming. Up here. Sit. Yes. I'm sure you can't really see this, but I'm just going to keep rewarding him as these dogs are approaching. Yes. 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 Good boy. Yes. Yes. Good boy. Yes. And I am also doing that type of reinforcement where I'm varying my reinforcement duration. So the yeses, yes, are they're a little bit different durations each time, so it doesn't become super predictable. Yes, but he didn't react at the black dog, and the black dog didn't react at him. Now we're at the edge of the garage, but that's okay. Yes, we're using the freeze-dried treats. So one thing we can do with him is if the environment is super calm, super chill. So down. Nope. Yes. Super calm, super chill. We can use lower value things. But we have a really stimulating environment right now. So we're going to use higher value rewards. And like I said, I'm using the freeze dried. He has not reacted to anything.